This is an Maida initiative, conversation without compromise.
That's correct.
So ultimately, as Christians, we think about life differently, right? Living as long as we possibly can is not necessarily the ultimate goal.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think another thing is that they try to like shame you, in those cultures, like in Turkmenistan and other places, they use a shame, and not necessarily you breaking the law, but they try to use, shaming you, making you feel like, you're irresponsible. Then because of that, you have to follow the restrictions. Here it's the same way. If you don't follow our restrictions, then they try to shame you and make you guilty of like, oh, you don't care enough for your neighbors and others. That's why you don't listen to our restrictions. But Christian communities been known throughout history, even in worse scenarios and sicknesses, and they've been the ones that were taking care of the needy most of the time. Even like orphanages and different things, throughout the history in Europe and other places, they were like when mainly the governments and elite of societies were neglecting the needs of the people, the church was meeting their needs and taking care of those needy people and serving them and loving them. And I think even looking back to the history of Christianity, I think the governments shouldn't be they shouldn't try to guilt, give what they call it, shame them or try to guilt trip them, to obey the restrictions. We genuinely, usually Christians always cautious, and they help the needy and take care of the unhealthy or sick and that kind of stuff. That's why I think we're gonna do better job without even government putting restrictions on Christians and churches.
Right. Right, and I think what we need to talk about is, so we've got these principles, right? We've got obey God rather than man. When the law is righteous and the leaders disobey it, we hold them to the standard of the law,
right?
And we have to keep doing our work regardless of restrictions.
Right.
How do people resist? How should Christians resist unjust governments, unjust laws, worldviews that oppose us?
I think it's like by civil disobedience. We're not gonna, we can't fight